Hello, my name is Francisco Javier Tapia, and during this presentation, I hope to bring you a clearer view on what it's actually like to be an aircraft maintainer, if you're looking to get into the industry. I will provide you this clearer view by giving you the perspective of an actual experienced maintainer. So there's obviously not a PowerPoint up here with me, so I sent out a PowerPoint and I'll let you know when I'm going on to the next slide so that you can keep up with me from wherever you're at. And just keep in mind, I have a family. There's probably going to be some noises going on and I apologize for those, but we're moving on to slide 2. All right, so for this presentation, I was fortunate enough to interview someone that has been in the industry for 28 years. He's someone that I personally look up to. He was my manager a few years back, and his name's Charles Thomas. He's an STM now, which means that he's a service team manager. But before that, he was a maintainer for 19 years, like before he got that position. He now works for a very prestigious company. It's called Gulfstream. They supply and maintain some of the most luxurious private jets for some of the most successful and powerful people and companies all around the world. All right, we're moving on to slide 3. Okay, so for my interview, I got 3 main takeaways that I thought you guys might find interesting or helpful if you're trying to, become part of the industry. And those are, first, why he loves his job so much. Secondly, what are some of the challenges that he faced? And third was the advice that he gave for someone that's just starting out, for someone's first year on the job. So now we're moving on to slide 4. Okay, so let's begin about talking, on a high note. Let's begin about talking about why he loves his job. So one of the first things that he mentioned and actually got really excited about was that the job never got repetitive. He was always on his toes. He didn't know what would come next or what he'd be working on the next day. And he loved that part about it. He also mentioned that he loves the fact that he gets to truly be part of a team. It takes a lot of teamwork to get a lot of the jobs done when you're an aircraft maintainer. And during that time, with the highs and the lows, with all the different types of people, it brings you guys, closer together, and it makes you feel like you're part of something. And so that was the second reason. And finally, he said that he loves the fact that he's not at a desk job. He said that he couldn't imagine working behind a desk and having his days just dragged out. He loves the fact that he's constantly moving and on his feet, and he could never imagine being, confined to a tight space, and that's his entire job, So we're moving on to slide 5. So then I asked him what are some of the challenges that he experienced as a maintainer. And interestingly, he summed up the entire question with one word, and that was pressure. First, he mentioned the pressure of having to make deadlines. In the aviation industry, it's no secret that the companies make their profits by keeping planes in the air. So that means that the maintainers of these airplanes have the constant pressure of making sure that those airplanes are cleared to be in the air. And so that brought him to his second point, which was the pressure of making sure that he did his job right. It was an internal pressure that, above all, he couldn't let the pressure of making deadlines affect the quality of his work. He mentions that he felt the need to be perfect because there's lives at stake. And every time that he signs something off, it's, a big deal. There's lives at stake. All right, so we're moving on to slide 6. So finally, this is my third takeaway, which was his advice to a first-year maintainer. The first thing that he mentioned was to make sure that you're ready to learn. That getting your A&P license was a great accomplishment, congratulations. But once you actually get to your first job for, a company that's trying to make money, you're gonna realize really fast how much you don't know. And the second thing was to be patient with yourself. Like, it led him to saying to be patient with yourself, because when you first start off, you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes and you're going to get overwhelmed because, you know, you don't know the job. Like, it happens. You get overwhelmed when you don't know something. And especially with the pressure of your boss, he might even get angry at you because you're not going fast enough. In those situations, he mentions to just stay calm and don't get too down on yourself, to remind yourself that you just started off, that you don't have the experience to be proficient in what you're doing yet. And thirdly, he mentions to seek out different points of views. When you get to the job, there's going to be a lot of guys that think that they know the job better than someone else and that their point of view is superior to everyone else's. And so he mentions just to not fall into the trap of following one person's point of view, that to seek out as many, perspectives as you can, so that you can come up ultimately with your own perspective that works for you. All right, so now we're moving on to slide 7, which is the final slide, the conclusion. I hope that I brought you a clearer view on what it's actually like to be an aircraft maintainer. I've mentioned things like what you might end up loving about the job, some challenges that you may experience, and hopefully you learn some great advice that helps you when you're starting off. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day.